The song, The 12 Days of Christmas, is all about sharing gifts with friends and loved ones. I would like to honor the theme of that song by sharing whiskey with a different person each day with a nod to the daily gifts from the song. It's time for Whiskey Christmas 2024. Welcome to the 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas, where I share whiskey with friends following the theme of the song, The 12 Days of Christmas. Today is day 11, better known as 11 Pipers Piping. My wife is trying to burn down the kitchen. My guest today is a man who has more than likely forgotten more than the rest of us will ever learn about whiskey. He should probably have his own whiskey tube channel. This is my friend Mark. If this is your first 12 Days of Whiskey Christmas video, first of all, where have you been for 10 days? But second of all, it's important to know that we do these blind. That way, Mark, who doesn't know what we're drinking, can review them and choose what he likes and doesn't like without any bias. But you at home will know. Inside this beautifully wrapped box that the missus has so lovingly created are the two bottles that we have in front of us in the same order that they are in front of us. And here are today's bottles. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, we're gonna go right to left. So
that's good.
Yeah. So let's start with our first sample. So how are you?
Good. It's nice and cold, so that's always good. Oh, that is definitely Scotch.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a peated.
Do you like peated scotches?
I do. I prefer peated scotches. The peated Scotch gives you more of the impression of warmth than a regular Scotch. So this time of year, especially when it's nice and cold.
We pre-gamed a little bit before this. I said that this wasn't peated. This is what we had to pre-game. It had a little bit. It had a little bit, yeah.
So that probably comes from the storing it near the ocean.
Okay.
That's my guess, because that was a little bit of brininess in that too.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't know, again, Mark has trained me. There are 5 regions in Scotland and 5 regions of different kinds of Scotch, and they all are very unique. I do not remember any of them except for Islay. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, so you have Isla, which is a wonderful word for a name of a little girl.
That would be a good name for a girl.
We named my daughter Isla. You also have the Highlands, Lowlands, Campbelltown, and the Islands.
Okay.
Campbelltown's not very prevalent. There's only a couple that are sold in the United States. But your Highlands and your Islands are typically your peated.
Okay. You ready to try it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's got a little nuttiness.
It's got a little something. I know what it is, but
it's a little bit of, it's not a heavy peat. It's definitely lighter than I anticipated based on the aroma.
yeah. It is. It's got. So I might as well be doing these blind. I don't know the proof. I don't know the age. I don't remember any of that stuff. That's not information I retain. But it's got a little funk to it.
Yeah. So for Scotch, typically your Scotches you're looking at a 12-year is your most common, probably. This tastes probably a little bit younger than that.
Okay. I wonder what this is.
I wouldn't say
This isn't on camera. I'm sorry.
a whole lot younger, but I think it's a little bit younger just because I don't get a whole lot of oakiness to it. And it doesn't taste like there's not a sherry cask finish on there. There's not enough sweetness for that. There is some kind of finish though. That's what I'm trying to decide.
Is Scotch largely... Now, I know Scotch isn't in new barrels like bourbon is.
Correct.
But is it largely a finished product? Or is it
The majority of the
Not
time.
the bourbon barrel.
So typically, depending on what the distiller wants to do, they'll use sherry casks, wine barrels, wine casks.
Yeah.
Balvenie uses a rum cask. So typically, there's a barrel finish on there.
There's port and there's.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the one? Angel's Envy does that rum finish.
Yeah. So the problem with finishing barrels now is sherry is not as popular as it once was. Now they'll use a sherry cask for 7 to 8 times typically on a finishing, but eventually that barrel is going to wear out. And then what do you use next?
I remember, and again, this is a bourbon I'm about to talk about, but it still goes to what you said. When Angel's Envy, when we did their tour, they said they only used their sherry casks 4 times.
Yeah, because you start to lose some of the flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll blend out of all 4 runs.
Yep.
So that they can get the full flavor.
Yeah, some of it depends on how long you were using the sherry cask. I had a Downmore 15, which did 3 years in a sherry cask.
Wow.
So they're not getting as many runs out of that.
Yeah.
Because it's sitting there so long absorbing from that sherry.
Right.
And that made it that much sweeter
Okay.
of a whiskey. It was very, very good.
Well, let's save a little bit of this and we'll come back to it. Let's go to glass B. I would say for most of the people that I did the video, the online video, the remote, I don't think I'm allowed to say the platform I used for copyright purposes, but almost every time I said letter B and I said number B instead of letter B. And I'm like, you see right there, I got it wrong. But
It's how fast whiskey affects you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that might have been the day I did 5 in a row.
So
Oh, I should smell this.
should I ask any questions about?
You can. I might not answer them.
Are these same distillery?
I'm not going to answer that.
Are they same region?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're both peated. I should say that.
I say because this is a very light peat
This
on
is
the nose.
way lighter than this.
I mean, this had a definite peat and a definite smokiness and earthiness, especially on the palate. And this
I'm almost not getting anything on this.
No, honestly, a little bit of citrus.
Okay.
A little bit of an orange.
I could see that. Or you're talking me into it.
Man, I'm not getting much.
Well, let's just go for tasting it then.
Yeah. Whoa.
Way more on the mouth.
Yeah, that's
palate.
very oily.
Wow. That is...
Man, that hit me right up front, and it wants to stay there.
It's on like not the tip of my tongue, but right past it.
Yeah.
That is a lot of flavor for no nose.
Completely different.
And I know scotches aren't as known for their noses like a bourbon would be, but
So
I still expected more for as much flavor as this has.
the peat doesn't come through as much as it did on the first one. I mean, it's there. This tasted more like a traditional peated scotch.
Yeah.
This is there,
I'm
but
getting more on the second sip.
yeah, but it's not like a lot of times the peat comes through as almost like charcoal, like barbecue kind of. This is not that kind of smoke.
Not at all.
This is almost like more campfire-ish. Like
This is almost like High West campfire, that level of...
Yeah. Because it gets you. And that smoke comes through in the back. I mean, I can even smell smoke now. Like, not in smelling the glass, but just after a drink. Like, I can feel it permeating throughout.
I tried one of these last night and spilled it, and I swear I smelled it at work today. Still, and I took a shower this morning.
I did that once. I spilled some Ardbeg at work one time, and that smell did not go away for days.
I smelled it on top of my laptop. I'm like, oh no! But it was just not the open. So this is what I have recommended for all the other days, that we go back and to see. We don't have to do it right away. Get some water, do whatever you want to do. But I want to go back to this and see if it changes for you. And I know it'll be a little bit different with scotch.
So what I'm anticipating is the mustiness and peat that's coming through on this one is going to make this one feel lighter. That's my anticipation.
I am anticipating that funk we got the first time is going to be funkier.
You think?
Yeah.
Because even the smell.
Oh.
It smells way different.
Wow.
I don't even smell that peat now.
I don't either. I smell that funk.
Yeah.
All right. That got super sweet.
Yeah. There's some kind of finish on that I can't place yet.
Wow. Gonna make my eyelid twitch. That is really sweet now.
That's nuts.
All right. So going back, do you have a preference?
Oh man. I'm leaning towards B.
Okay. There's no wrong answer, by the way.
I would have said before going back, I would have said A. But going back, I think that lost some of its flavor.
So tasting these the first time through, I thought for sure that A would be my favorite.
Yeah.
Going back to it, it's almost too sweet, and this is more complex, and I'm enjoying this.
And this has held some of the peat.
Mm-hmm.
A hasn't really held the peat after tasting B.
A is holding whatever was finished, and I promise you that. Because that is super sweet. And again, I don't remember whether it's like port or whatever. We'll see in a minute. But
I have an idea. I have a guess.
Okay. Nobody else has guessed, FYI. We're into day 11 and no one has guessed.
I have a guess. Now.
Oh, that's not true. I guess a couple people guessed. They were wrong.
I'm pretty sure I know the distillery.
Okay.
Specific bottles, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think it's Lagavulin.
Okay. You're also somewhat at an advantage.
Because I know what you have.
Sure.
No, I think it's Lagavulin because Lagavulin in the specific bottles that I'm thinking of is not as heavily peated. The regular Lagavulin 16 has a little bit more peat to it.
So you don't think one of these is a 16?
I don't.
Okay.
I think this is the Nick Offerman series. Okay. My guess is this is the stout finished one, the sweeter.
Okay. The Guinness stout finished one? Okay.
The other one, I don't remember what his other finishes were.
Okay.
But, because I get...
I'll give you a heads up on what all four of them are. If they are. The first was not a finished.
Okay.
The second was the Guinness. The third was this one that's got fire all over it, the extra scorched barrels. And the fourth was the Caribbean rum.
That could be the rum too. What kind of sweetness is coming through there? Is it a sugary sweetness or is it a nuttiness? That might be the rum.
So,
because I've lost, so that initial nose, I thought there was a little bit of nuttiness to it. I'm not getting that anymore.
So, do you have a favorite, or would you just like them in different circumstances?
I like B better.
Okay.
For sure. I like A.
Okay.
Somebody gave me A. I am more than happy with that.
Yeah.
I just think if I'm going to have a peated whiskey, I want that peat to be able to hold up.
Okay.
Well, I think this dissipated too much.
Let's look at what we have, and then we can wrap up the video and chat.
No, I was way off, wasn't I?
So,
too bad.
This is the rum one.
Okay.
And this is the Guinness one.
Yeah.
There's the fancy. You said 12 year. They're both 11s. All the Offermans are 11 year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sweetness on A.
So I will say this. This bottle of the four that I have all four. This bottle is the bottle that I have enjoyed the most out of all four of them. Tonight, mostly I forgot which one were which because I wanted to do this as well as possible. I did enjoy this one more. So,
I mean, I've always said, I get asked a lot what my go-to is, especially in Scotch. And I always tell people I am so dependent on weather, time of year, what I'm doing.
yeah.
Because 90 degrees outside in the summer, this isn't going to be all that great.
Right.
It's gonna feel hot. You don't really want the smoke at that point, where this would be a whole lot better. But 25 degrees outside right now.
Yeah.
This has a little bit more of what I would look for.
So I'll admit I thought these were flipped.
Okay.
Because I forgot which one, the way I put them in here. They've been sitting here since yesterday.
Okay.
Allie poured them so that I didn't know which one was which. So even though I knew what we were drinking, I didn't know the order. So I thought this, for all the reasons that we talked about, was the rum finished one. And this one that was sweet, exactly what you said, I thought that was the Guinness one. I was completely backwards.
Man, that sugary really comes through after sitting there for a couple minutes.
So before we wrap this up, and we can sit here and drink all night, but we can't do it on this video. Do you get why I chose this for this day? It's not super complicated.
I mean, I get it. Pipers, bagpipes.
No.
Scotland.
It's
I like
day,
Scotch.
It's a day 11, and they're both 11 years.
Well played, sir.
Your
well
pipers would have made more sense. All right. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure Mark and I are going to hang out for a little bit. My dogs took all the way to the end to get into this video. So thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow.